Hey there, today I want to walk you through my morning routine. So before I started studying Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga, I had basically no routine for my mornings whatsoever. Big mistake. As it turns out, our morning rituals have a huge impact on how the rest of our day is going to go, and frankly, on our general health too. Having a specific regular routine to start your day helps you focus, get energized, not to mention knock out a bunch of self-care practices that are important to you. So my morning routine currently has 13 items on it. It takes me about 60 minutes to complete. Yeah, 13 items. So 3 of those steps aren't related specifically to Ayurveda. They are just part of my admittedly pretty intense skincare routine, so I'm not going to go over those, but the rest, they're all tied to Ayurveda and overall holistic wellness. Okay, first thing I do is wake up before dawn. Usually I am up and out of bed no later than 5:30 at the latest, but the key is getting out of bed before the sun comes up. Now here's why this is so powerful. Waking up before the sun rises, in effect, naturally balances our mind-body connection, and it gives us a natural energetic boost. And the reason it does this is one of the times of the day when the Vata dosha is most present. The doshas are the energies that govern us and the world around us. The Vata dosha helps to get our minds and bodies moving. And again, that energy is present right up until sunrise each day. So waking during this time really helps boost energy and kickstart your day. Now, the next step actually depends whether my husband is still sleeping. And that step is to make my bed. This really sets a positive, energetic tone for the day ahead because I'm already completing a task that I want to do anyway. I'm immediately productive when I make my bed first thing. Now, if my husband is still sleeping, which is usually the case, I get on with the rest of my routine and then I just come back to this, but I always make my bed in the morning, full stop. Okay, next on my list is to empty out. In other words, I use the bathroom, okay? So if you're like me, you need to go anyway, but it's actually really healthy to empty the bladder and your bowels, if you can, right after you wake up. Now here's why. While we have been sleeping, our bodies are hard at work, right? They're rejuvenating us, helping us recover from the previous day. And the body is also releasing a lot of toxins via urine and feces. So all that built up waste in our bladder and our colon need to be eliminated, which helps keep our overall dosha energy healthy. All right, next, I scrape my tongue. You know how you wake up with that slimy film on your tongue every morning? There's a word for that. It's called ama, which is a Sanskrit word. Ama sounds a lot more pleasant than what this slimy film actually is. Ama is a toxic waste combo platter of all the dead cells and bacteria, food waste, and other particles that have just collected in your mouth after all those hours of passive respiration while you've been sleeping. It's nasty, right? So I always scrape my tongue with a special scraper designed specifically for this purpose. Then I clean my mouth out with water and at minimum some mouthwash. I might brush my teeth at that point too. It just sort of depends on the day ahead and what my schedule looks like. But I always rinse with water and mouthwash. Okay, following tongue scraping, I hop into a cold shower. Now, if that makes you instantly cringe, I get it. It took quite a bit of getting used to for me too, but a cold shower is great for a bunch of reasons. It improves your circulation. It helps produce positive mood hormones. It builds tolerance and resilience, which makes sense. And it helps flush off any toxins that you might have sweated out overnight. So this is a great way to clear stagnant energy, and trust me, it is so invigorating. Give it a try. All right, once I've stepped out of the cold shower, I go through that intensive AM skincare routine that I mentioned. And once that is done, I'll head down to the kitchen for the next 2 steps in my routine. First, I'll do a nasal irrigation. So you may have heard of the neti pot. I use that, or I'll use my Navage. So this is a battery powered option, which I like to use when I'm feeling congested or if I have any sick symptoms because it's got that extra juice with the battery. The neti pot though, this is great as a traditional, very gentle method to irrigate the nasal passage. So a mix of distilled water and salt go in here, and then you just bend over and allow the saline solution to pass through one nostril and it'll stream out the other. And then I switch sides halfway through and let it drain all the way out. Now this takes some getting used to. There's definitely a learning curve, but I don't get sick as often as I used to. And it has a ton of other benefits. It reduces inflammation in the sinuses, helps you breathe better. It helps cure cough and cold symptoms, and that's just to name a few. Okay, next I drink up. I get myself a big old glass of water and I drink between 16 to 24 ounces all at once. Now I try to drink this at room temperature, so I will usually have set out a bottle of water the night before. And the reason that I drink so much at once like this is that first, it allows my body to distribute water just anywhere that it needs it at that moment. And second, anything that's left over and unneeded is only going to get flushed out. So that means my kidneys get a really nice cleansing. All right, at this point, I head back upstairs to a quiet room to round out the final steps of my morning routine. So I start with breathwork, then move into meditation, and then a gratitude practice. Now, Ayurveda would traditionally suggest to exercise before getting into these particular practices. But for me, and the way that my days are structured, doing these three things before my yoga practice is what works best for me. So I will move into breathwork next, and I cannot tell you how transformational breathwork has been for me. I like to do two different kinds of breathing in the morning. I start with alternate nostril breathing. So this is where you plug one nostril, you breathe in one side and then let it out the other. And then you continue like that back and forth, breathe in and out the other side. I do 12 rounds of that. And then I go into a balancing breath. So I'll inhale for 4 beats, hold it for 2 beats, and then long exhale for 4 to 6 counts. So I'll do that 30 different times. So it takes about 5 minutes. And I'm telling you, once I'm done with my breath work, I feel so dang relaxed, but also ready and energized for my day. It really is amazing. Now, after I've done my breathing, I will do a guided meditation. Usually it's about 10 minutes, and then I'll wrap it all up with a gratitude practice. So I record how I'm feeling at that moment. I do a short journal reflection, and I always list out 3 things I'm grateful for. And I gotta say, this really, over time, has helped me find positive perspective, not only for my day ahead, but really my entire life in general. But that's it. So from there, you know, this is typically when I would have my first cup of coffee. I would read for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'd roll out my mat and do a 60-minute yoga practice. Now, that's not to say other stuff doesn't come up, right? I've got 2 little girls, I've got 2 cats. They might need me sooner, so that's fine. You know, things become a lot more fluid and changeable in our day. As soon as I wrap up my gratitude practice, that's what happens for me. But once I've gotten this routine out of the way, I'm ready to help and to be there for the people who need me. So that's sort of the bird's eye view of what I routinely do every single morning. This is a routine that I have shaped and tweaked and tested for a really long time, over a year. I had other things on the list a while ago, but I couldn't make them stick. I've added additional things along the way. And I'm sure that this is going to continue to evolve for me. So you don't have to follow what I do to the letter, but I do hope that this gives you just some of the things that you could incorporate into your own morning. Whatever you add to your morning routine, however, here's my biggest suggestion. Use that time to energize, to motivate, to relax, and to center yourself. It's really one of the best things that you can do to ensure a productive and just awesome day. So have a great morning from here on out, and I will see you soon.